What's going on YouTube? Silent E, TCG here, back again with another deck profile on the deck I've currently been using for the OP-11 format. Definitely a strong leader, definitely very underrated, but we are trying out Blue Yellow Nami. Actually, a decent color. I am a fan of Blue Yellow Queen. He actually did well with him back in OP-04, which he was pretty fun. So I thought, Nami would be just the same. And believe it or not, she really is. She's really strong. She actually does well, even against Blue Purple Luffy, surprisingly, and other matchups here and there. She always really has a bad matchup per se, but for what it's worth, she's still very decent, and I like her a lot. She's really good. Also got the Altar Leader. Definitely wanted to get that. But other than that, like I said, she's really good. Controls the board. I mean, you're pretty much hitting life. Her effects going off every turn, I would say. So that's the good part. As long as you got your ability to kick off, every turn that you can, I think it's a win in my book. But like I said, decent matchups, good color combination. But other than that, you can kind of make her however you feel. Some people do use the little top of the deck to, add the life, heal and all that. I'm a little different. Control the board, control the hand. Man, it works for me. Well, without further ado, let's get into the build. I'll show y'all what I've been rocking. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment down below. Let me know everything in the deck, and if any changes need to be done and made to it. Also, if y'all enjoy my profile, YouTube profile, picture, let me know on that, comment on that. But let's get started. We're starting off, we got, cheap blocker, Law, just one cost, out there so you can save some Dawn, at least 2 Dawn on her attack. They got to pitch cards, not take the hit. They don't want you to draw, so they'll stop that at all costs. And, you're 4 life leader, so you still want to be a blocker. And we got Nojiko, another great card. You are a Nami leader, so you can play her. Bouncing a 5 or less character back in hand is tremendous, very helpful, and definitely for 2 costs, you can't beat that at all. Next, we got Marshall DT for Blackbeard. Just a great card. If you got too many cards in hand, put one on top of the deck. Give 2 Rested Dawn to leader character, which mainly would go to the leader to proc her +2 effect. But other than that, mitigate the hand, attach Rested Dawn, and just, helps out each and every way. Another 2 costs. Got a new card from OP-11. Got Zeus here. Great card. Much like Nojiko. 2 costs, take a life from top or bottom, and KO a 5 or less. So just KOing with 5 or less is always key. And also 2K counter, so can't beat that either. Another 2K counter is Hiyori. 2K counter, but other than that, take a life from top or bottom and put a card from your hand on top of life. So it helps you put a trigger you might need in hand back on back on life. That way you can set it up for combos and just what you need. Next, got 2 Cereals, who's just a blocker. In case he gets KO'd by an effect, you get a life, heal a life. So not bad, but other than that, just a cheap blocker to have in there. You can bring her out from hand, which I'll show y'all soon. Next is Pudding. I was using 4, but 3 was good. I saw her enough. Usually their hands are only big once. And that's like before you even attack major. Because you hit them, they'll take maybe a couple hits. And I'll drop this as soon as possible. They have like 6 or 7, I'll drop her. That way, it guarantees almost a second hit. So you'll draw a card from that. Otherwise, they'll just pitch out and, counter out the attack. So, but you can run 4, but like I said, 3 was good. Next is Kikinojo, like I said, with Hiyori. Take a card and put her back on top of life. Your opponent's going to be at 3 or less in no time. So she's just a free body to come out from life. And if she gets KO'd, you heal up. So not bad there. Another card you can do is a Tori, 2K counter, but also a body from life. And trigger, trash a card. Not bad if you got like 8. That way you can go down to 7, draw all your best. You go to 6, draw all your best 7. If you got too many or whatever, you can just make it so you don't have that much. One Jozu, I had more, but I took like 2 or 3 out, or I took 3 out, and then I left just 1 in there just to have. He can come up with the 2 costs that you stick on board or Teach or Hiyori, Zeus, whatever. Law if you need to just bounces to replay it later. But he bounces a 6 or less back in hand, so really good. Much like no G code, but just one cost higher. And he's a good attacker, 7K. You know, nothing to scoff at. Next we got Robin, definitely MVP. Just your opponent at 3 or more life. They trash one, automatically gives you the leader ability. So definitely great to have. 1,000 counter once they're at 2 or less, so you know, useless after that really. So just a counter. And then trigger, play a yellow character 3 or less. So we got Zeus, you can pop something on their side on their turn if need be. We got Hiyori, I can set up a life, take a life, put Kikunojo on top. So I can, you know, put whatever on top, but mainly Kikunojo. Or Shirahoshi, just be a blocker. So Nick Robin does have her ways, you know, it does have her advantages outside of just knocking off that life or so. And speaking of knocking off life, we got Big Mom, the 6 drop, just 2. I don't think you need no more than that. The 7 drop I tried, but it's she was a little too hefty. But the 6 drop is definitely preferred because your opponent has either, first of all, you trash your card, so hand go down, you know, to a leaderable number. But then either they got to trash 2 cards from their hand, or they trash their top life, which is very hefty. You know, either or. Mainly they go for hand, but if the hand's looking like 3 to 4 cards, they'll trash that life, and then you'll draw a card. So you know, replaces itself, and you got a decent body as well. Next up, another new card for OP-11 is the Secret Luffy, Rush Luffy. Very good. Becoming 8, attack for 8. He has rush, so very easily, you know, that's all you're gonna do. Attack, bounce a 4 or less back in hand, and then you give a rested dawn to your leader, preferably. Or if you already got one there, you can just give it to him, attack for 9. But mainly it's going to the leader, so she'll have her ability activated. And then, like I say, he's at 8, they take a hit, hey, you get a life. You get a card out of that, and a life, you know. Speaking of just getting a life, we got Kid, 8 drop Kid from OP 10. Great card. As soon as you play him, he rests himself and trash your opponent's life. So you get a ability to draw off that. And then he's, you know, 8-9, big, you know, decent body. End the turn, draw 1, trash 1. So it helps fit to your hand. You got a couple of bricks. So it's good to get a little recycle in for sure. So that's probably your best boss card that you'll have at the moment. And then round it up, we got 3 red rock. Just gets rid of anything, any character, and then, you know, don't have to worry about it. And then 1 gravity blade. Just get rid of multiple. You know, there's a lot of 5 or less out there, 6 or less. But anything higher than that, you got the red rock for. Other than that, I had a lot of 1 cost, but usually it would get rested, or, you know, you may not be able to commit to having 1 dawn open. So I just decided just to not run them at all, you know. Other than that, like I said, Nami is very fun. Definitely put in a lot of work, and you know, I like her a lot. We'll see what we can do to her in the upcoming future. You know, she'll be around for a while. We'll definitely be here to stay. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Leave it down in the comments below. Tell me how you feel about Nami, and if y'all think she's, you know, very decent. Like I said, decent matchup against Blue Purple Luffy. And you know, overall, pretty good leader. All right, y'all. Let me know what y'all think. Leave it down in the comment below. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.